Hi there, I'm Scott Lowe with ActualTech Media. I'm here with Jon Toor, who is the CMO of Cloudian. Jon, thank you for having us today.
Thank you, Scott. Good to be here.
So object storage is something that's really becoming far more mainstream than it used to be. It used to be sort of this esoteric little technology. Now it's really coming to its own.
That's right.
What is object storage?
Well, object storage is a way of storing unstructured data. So it's like file storage, and you're storing files. It could be Windows files, or it could be media files, or it could be images. But it's a way of storing them in a way that's very, very scalable. Unlike a traditional file structure, which has a limit as to how far it can grow, there really is no limit as to how far you can grow with an object storage system, which means you can keep all your data in a single namespace as opposed to having it divided up into multiple silos.
So it gives us better scalability, which also gives us simplicity.
Right. It gives you simplicity because now you're managing everything in one place rather than having it spread across multiple systems. So now you can back up everything from one space. You can see all your files in one arena. Everything is treated the same in an object storage system. It doesn't mean it's all in the same physical location. It just means it's in the same namespace.
So what are some of the most common use cases people are looking at for adoption of object storage?
So a great example of where object storage makes perfect sense is in data protection. Because you think about backing up data from multiple servers, you want all that data to be backed up into a single place where it can then be replicated to an offsite location perhaps. Having it all in one place where you're backing up to really simplifies that task. Well, to do that, you need one place that can grow. It can grow really big because you may have multiple petabytes of data that you're trying to protect. So object storage is perfect for a data protection kind of environment.
What are some other reasons people look at object storage beyond data protection?
So other examples would be media and entertainment. And here again, we're used as an active archive. We have a broadcasting company that's currently consolidating multiple server environments down to a single storage pool on Cloudian because it makes a very effective, scalable active archive. The second thing that's really interesting about object storage is the metadata capability. You can store an enormous amount of metadata with each object, which allows you to then record what kind of footage that is being stored there, what's in it. Makes it much easier to go back and find it later on.
That's one of the biggest challenges with unstructured data. Organizations lose it. They may have it all on their systems, but they can't find it anymore because it's unstructured. It's right in this monolithic, esoteric legacy file system that's really not that efficient.
Exactly.
By being able to tag it consistently, it seems like we enable far easier search operations. You can categorize data, lots of different things it would seem like with these types of systems.
Right, exactly. The ability to find it is really critical with a single namespace. And that's one thing that's really interesting about us is we can actually maintain a single namespace across multiple physical locations. So one thing we're seeing out of our customer is they're using it to distribute data across an enterprise. And this may be across multiple sites or even across multiple geographies. And in some cases, they've got very stringent rules about how that data is being spread around the organization. Well, with object storage, you can do all that within a single cluster, right? Because you can share all these nodes in a single cluster. But then the question is, well, where is my data? So one thing that's really interesting we have is a feature called Data GPS. And this allows you to actually physically see where that data is in your infrastructure. So if you want to make sure that the data is still at site A where it's supposed to be and not at site B, which may be in another country or in a different building where it's not supposed to be located, you can go to Data GPS and see physically where that data went.
So beyond scale, beyond big files, beyond fine data, there's actually a risk management component to this as well, it seems.
Absolutely.
And that's increasingly important with what's happening in the world today,
right.
with data loss and even just organizational policy. It seems like the more points of touch you have, the more complex policy would be. And it seems like by bringing in something like the Cloudian solution, you can simplify that.
And that's the trade-off people make, is a single namespace is great for simplifying management, but it is put risk on in terms of where is my data physically sitting. So we put on security in the device. It's got built-in security and encryption built into the device, combined with the ability to automate what data is moving where. So you can be sure that you're not doing these operations manually and introducing errors that may cause files to go where they're not supposed to go. And then, the old saying, trust but verify.
Right.
You can then go back after the fact and verify by using data GPS and see where your data physically ended up.
Jon, thank you for that overview.
Thank you, Scott.